Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome in for today's Truth Talks. Um, our conversation today is a serious topic. Truth Talks is designed to have real conversations for real people who are going through real stuff. And so today's conversation, I want to talk specifically to the one the one man, the one woman who's still crying in the shower, and you know who you are. And I want to talk to you about what that means and why you're still crying in the shower. But more importantly, I want to let you know that you don't have to keep crying in the shower. I want to let you know that I've been there. I've come out the other side. I've dried off and I stopped crying in the shower. And I'm going to share with you today how I was able to do that and hopefully be able to drop a breadcrumb or a nugget for you if you find yourself still crying in the shower. So as you guys come in, feel free to share this video out. Again, it's going to be a serious conversation. I don't want it to be taken lightly, but I do still like to have fun. But there's going to be a lot of transparency I'm going to share with you today. There's going to be a lot of truth that I'm going to share with you today in the name of Truth Talks, real conversations for real people who are dealing with real stuff. And that's what we're going to talk about. So as you come in, welcome. My name is Marci, Batiste. I'm your ultimate power coach, helping you bring harmony back into your life, relationships, and business by enriching your personal foundation so you can empower your professional position. And to do that, I always feel that it's an important part of growth to always remain in relationship with the healthy reality. And so a lot of Truth Talks is about just having these real conversations about stuff people are going through. And so I want to talk to, again, that one man, that one woman who finds yourself still crying in the shower. You're that person who wants to be there for everybody. You're that person who would give the shirt off your back. You're that person who stuffs it all down so that you don't make anybody else feel bad. You're the person who, when everybody's looking around to see what's going on and see what's happening, hey Arthur, you're the person that people tend to overlook and say, oh, he's all right, she's okay, I don't have to worry about them, I know they're good. You're also the person who is crying in the shower, and I know that because I used to cry in the shower, and in a very, very literal sense. So I'm going to give you a figurative description, but I'm going to tell you in a literal sense, this is what I used to do. And this was probably about, gosh, I'm getting old, so it was probably about at least 18 years ago. At least 18 years ago. And my kids were still relatively young, and I was almost 400 pounds. I was very, very successful in my career. I was a bank executive. I was still climbing the corporate ladder. I was still doing my thing. I was a community leader. I was a mother, and I was a wife, and all of these things that on the surface look like girl got her shit together. Inside, I was broken. I was lost about who I was. I wasn't clear about my identity. I wasn't clear about my racial identity. I wasn't clear about so many things. I had this whole daddyless daughter syndrome thing going on. I had really, really, really low self-esteem. Like, it didn't matter what anyone else told me. It was all in here. And so for a very literal sense, and I this is a subject that I don't talk about a lot, the crying in the shower, but this is literally what I used to do. And that's why I want to share this with you guys today. I said it's going to be a very transparent conversation, but That's what Truth Talks is all about, just keeping it real, keeping it honest. And so what I would do, because my kids were young, I didn't want to let them see me upset. And so when I would get to and find myself at my breaking point, that's what I would do. I would literally go to the shower, strip down, sit in the tub, and just let the water pour down on me. And as soon as the water hit me, the tears would start. And I would sit in there for hours, it seemed like hours, literally crying in the shower. Nobody knew this. Nobody knew this. You know, I was a support system. I was the rock. I was a strong one. I was successful. I was a leader. I was an executive. I made 6 figures. I had the house and the husband and the 2 kids and the Labrador Retriever, and I lived on the hill, and I cried in the shower, you guys. I cried in the shower. And one day, I don't know, I can't even tell you what the thing was that prompted me to stop. I know I recall that a lot of it began when I started to make the decision to lose weight. Part of that was like I hated physically who I was. Physically, I hated who I was. And so that caused a lot of emotional stress on myself. And I remember all those nights, all those afternoons, all those days, crying in the shower so my kids would not see me break down. And so that when I turned the water off and I dried off and I had released it down the drain, I could go back out into the world and put my mask on and then be the leader, the executive, the wife, the mother, all of these things, the rock that everyone else expected for me to be. But I never felt like I had anybody to be those things for me. And so I want to talk to you. If you're that person who's crying in the shower, if you're that leader, if you're that go-to person, if you're that support system for everybody else, and everybody forgets to ask you, like, yo, how you doing? Are you okay? Are you all right? What's going on with you? I'm talking to you. And this is what I want to share with you. I want to share with you that it's okay to be honest when you're not okay. It's okay to not be okay. I had to learn to admit that I was not okay. I had to change relationships that were around me. This is what I understood about myself. These are some of the reasons why I know and why I believe many of you who know what I'm talking about. You ain't gotta raise your hand or nothing. But if it resonates with you, if you know somebody who could receive this message, if you know somebody who's that strong person, but you forget to ask them, are they okay? Share this video out. This is what I'm going to share with you guys. It's fear and it's lack. Fear and lack are the 2 things that will cause you countless hours crying in the shower, hiding, masking. So you're afraid to disappoint anybody because you're that go-to person. You're the person that holds it all together. You're the glue. How many of you are the glue for your family? How many of you are the glue for your friends? How many are the glue for your company? How many of you feel like if I don't do it, it won't get done? So you're afraid to disappoint people. You're afraid if I don't show up, it's not going to get done. It's not going to be successful. It's not going to be productive. It's not going to be perfect. Fear of disappointment, I think, is one of the biggest ones. I think for me and a lot of other people, it was fear of discovery. Fear of discovery that I'm not freaking perfect. Fear of people discovering I don't have my shit together. Fear of people discovering that I am miserable. Fear of people discovering that no matter how many times I say I'm confident in being a big girl, I wasn't. I hated it. I hated it. I hated my body. I hate how I looked in my clothes. I hated it. But I wore that badge that said, I got this, honey. I ain't afraid. I'm a big girl, but I'm still cute, though. I said the right stuff. And then I cried in the shower because I knew I was lying. I was lying to them and I was lying to myself, which was more important than anything and any message that I ever delivered to anybody else. I was lying to myself. So I was afraid and fearful that people would figure that out. That they would suddenly get it and they'd be like, you know what? She's not really that confident. She's not. She's broken. She's insecure. She's lost. That's what I was afraid of. I was afraid of people discovering that. I was afraid that if they discovered that I didn't have my shit together, that I would be judged. I was afraid that they wouldn't like me. I was afraid people wouldn't respect me. I was afraid that somehow I would lose some position in the community that I probably only held in my head. I don't even know. But how many of us do that? How many of us hold ourselves to this standard of excellence and this standard of perfection that is nearly unattainable? It's nearly unattainable. And perfectionism is one of the things that will keep you crying in the shower. It's one of those things that you have to release. It's one of those things that you have to let go. So the fear of those things, it was trying to figure out, like, how do I get out of this? How do I come through this? Why do I keep crying in the shower? Like, who can I talk to? Who can I turn to? I remember thinking that. And there was nobody. There was nobody. And so what brought this all kind of to the forefront today is over the course of the last several weeks, several months actually, there just seems to be an inordinate amount of suicides. And maybe it's media that now it's relevant, like we see it, even if it's not close to us, we still see it, we still hear about it, we read about it in the media, we see it on social media. So maybe that's it. I don't know. Maybe the suicide rate hasn't gone up, but to me, in my world, in my space, in my little bubble, it seems like it has. And a good friend of mine passed away this week. And she was young. She was a sorority sister of mine. She had a young child. And I remembered our conversations. The last conversation I had with her was about a month or so before she died. But leading up to that, we'd had a number of conversations about life and about death and who's going to take care of her child. She needed a liver transplant. And so for a long time she had wrestled and tussled, and she felt alone in this world because both of her parents were deceased. And so we had a really special bond. And so we talked a lot about life and death and what it means and who supports you, who's in your corner for you. And one of the things that I always loved about Danielle was she always smiled. She always had this smile. When you listen to people talk about Danielle, that's one of the things they share. Like, I never saw her not smiling. But I was behind the curtain. I got to be behind the veil. And so she always appeared strong. Yeah, she always appeared to be smiling. She always appeared like, I got this. I'm gonna win this. And ultimately, she got her transplant, and then ended up passing away this past week. And I just know that a lot of people are going through things. Everybody says people are going through things you know nothing about. True enough. there are people every day that you cross paths with every day who are crying in the shower. And so, um, I've been processing a lot of this stuff and thinking about it and thinking about what, I mean, granted, she passed away from normal. It was complications of her liver disease and the transplant and all that kind of stuff. So it was not suicide. So no, I don't want anybody to get that confused. It definitely was not that. I'm just saying that hit me because the kind of person she was and how strong she always had to be for her daughter. So much of that resonated with how I had always been. But even I was one of her support systems, but she showed so much strength and she showed so much character and joy and stability, and she provided that for so many people. And then I think about these other people out there who don't have the support system, who don't have the somebody that they can talk to. And those are the individuals that oftentimes end up taking their own lives. And again, I want to talk to you. If you're that person who finds yourself either literally or figuratively crying in the shower, like hiding behind a mask, crying when nobody's looking, I know the feeling. I can't say that I've been suicidal, but I can say honestly that I felt a number of times like I just feel like I can't take a whole lot more. And I think that was kind of maybe that was my breaking point, is I don't think I can take much more. And for me, like I said, it was lack of confidence. It was I felt like I just didn't have the resources. I didn't have people around me that could pull me up. I didn't have people around me that could lift me up. I didn't have people around me who could encourage me, who could help me bring harmony back. Why is this so important to me? Why is that reality-based living important to me? This is why. Because I know what the proper tools and the proper resources can do for you. I'm well aware of that. I had, like I said, I never felt like I had the emotional support. I never felt like I had anyone else. I had mentors, but they were all business mentors. I didn't have personal mentors like I do now. I didn't have a personal board of directors like I do now. I didn't have the same circle of friends that I have now. And so, when we talk about being strategic about the people that we have in our lives and being strategic in the choices that we make with the relationships that we have and how we manage those relationships and how we teach people to be in relation with us, part of that is our obligation to be honest about where we are. People can't help you if they don't know where to find you. I can't meet you there if I don't know you're there. I can't pull you up if I don't know you fell down. I can't do those things. And so making sure that you have people around you who you can be transparent with. And if you don't have that, if that means going out and hiring a coach to help pull you through some things and help you get clarity on some things, then make that investment in yourself. Make that investment in your happiness. If that means, going to a spiritual leader and just sitting down, but you gotta have an honest, reality-based conversation, whether it's your spiritual leader, a paid coach, an advisor, if it's a mentor, or if it's a friend. You have to be willing to take it all off and get naked and vulnerable outside the shower. Because if you only crying in the shower, nobody knows you're crying. They can't tell the shower from your tears. And you have to be able to say, no, this right here, this is my bucket that has my tears in it. And these are the areas that I'm struggling. These are the areas where I don't know why I feel this way. I don't know why I feel so hurt. I don't know why I feel so unsupported. Because this is what I'll tell you. Sometimes you're actually more supported than you think. But you don't feel comfortable getting naked and being vulnerable and stepping outside the shower. But healing is outside your comfort zone. Recovery is outside your comfort zone. Success is outside your comfort zone. As long as you are content to only get naked and be vulnerable inside the shower and only cry inside the shower, nobody's going to be able to see your tears. Nobody's going to be able to offer assistance, to extend a hand, to offer support to you. So you have to be willing to do the things that you have to do. I think about all the people who have committed suicide over the years, and even this the last few months, and I wonder, like, how long were they crying in the shower before they just said, boom, I'm done, I'm out of here? And then I think about my friend Danielle, who just passed away, and I'm honored that she allowed me to be part of her personal board of directors. I'm honored that she allowed me behind the mask. I'm honored that she trusted me enough to get naked and be vulnerable and share with me her honest fears about her disease, about the possibility of, her life ending prematurely and leaving her daughter without a mother. We talked so many times about these things, and the one thing I'll say about her is that she never, ever, ever gave up. She never gave up. She when I tell you, this young woman went through hell and back, fought the system, fought insurance companies like nobody's business, until she got her transplant. And so the thing that I know is, though, even though she's gone now, that I know she led as full and as a complete life as she could. She was the best mom to her daughter that she could be. She was, like I said, she was always fine. She was always trying to be the strong one, but she still knew, as strong as she felt like she had to be, she still knew and found someone, and I'm just honored that I was one of those people that she allowed behind the veil with her, that she trusted to have those conversations with. And so I just say to you guys, if you're the person who's crying in the shower, who doesn't really know how to take the mask off, doesn't really know how to ask for help, just reach your hand out. Lift a hand up. There are people there that will help. There are people there that do want to be supportive of you. Like I said, if that means hiring a coach, hire the coach. If it means going to a spiritual leader, go to the spiritual leader. Don't think that your only option is to cry in the shower. Don't let lack and fear hold you hostage. You don't have to always be strong. It is okay to not be okay. It's okay to take the freaking day off. It's okay to say, you know what? Hands up. I've freaking had enough of this day. I've freaking had enough of this feeling. And then do the work to start to change that, because it's not a life sentence. I promise you, it's not. It doesn't have to be. Like I said, I can tell you my personal experience, years of crying in the shower, literally. And I can also tell you from personal experience, from my experience, and then from being able to be behind the mask with my friend Danielle, that there are people who you can trust, who will not judge you, who will not be disappointed that you're not perfect, who will be willing to listen and be supportive and help you come up with creative solutions. And if I could tell you how many conversations like we had about that, was like, well, did you try this? Did you call this? Did you do this? Did you do that? And so many brainstorming sessions that we had. And so again, being someone who got to be behind the veil for someone who was always smiling and who was always so strong, but inside scared. I mean, when we talk about dealing with reality, she had a harsh reality to face. My liver is failing. I need a transplant or I will die. That's a harsh reality for a young mom, a young single mother. It's a harsh reality to have to face. But she faced it with a smile, but she also knew, when I don't have to cry in the shower, I can reach out. I do have people who will have my back. I do have people who will support me. And so if you're that man, if you're that woman who cries in the shower, who feels like you have to do it all alone, who feels like you're constantly giving to everybody else, but you're not ever getting anything back, it's time to make a change. I see my friend Gillette on here. She has a saying. She says, make the shift. Shift happens, make the shift. Make the shift happen. Do that. Do that. Do that. Reach out. Say, you know what? I don't want to do this alone anymore. I don't want to do this alone anymore. I want things back in balance. I want to feel harmony again. I want to feel happiness again. I want to feel joy again. I don't know why. I don't know when I stopped feeling those things, but they're gone and I don't know how to get them back, and I need some people around me to help me. And it's sometimes you have to clear out your circle. You have to clear out your space. Absolutely. Yes, you do. You do. You do. No matter how strong you are. No matter how strong you are. Because I guarantee you it's the strongest ones who are the last ones to be asked if they need help and the last ones to ask for help. And so again, this isn't a message about, I'm not suggesting that you have to be suicidal. I'm just saying you could just be sad. You could just feel disconnected. You could just feel detached. You could just feel all these things. I mean, you're thinking about killing yourself. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, between the death of my friend and all of these suicides over the last few months, I wanted you to know that you don't have to cry in the shower. I want you to know that there are people out there who aren't going to judge you. I want you to know that there are people out there who aren't going to be disappointed that you're not perfect. Because quiet as it's kept, what you see on the Facebook and what you see on the gram ain't really what's going on in most people's lives. You're comparing your cut room scraps to somebody else's highlight reel. They only showing you the good stuff. They're not showing you when they was crying in the shower yesterday. You don't get to see that part. So don't compare yourself to anybody else's social success. Doesn't mean shift. It really doesn't. Gillette, sometimes clearing out your space will give you relief. Absolutely, it does. One of the things that my friends know about me, Gillette knows probably better than just about anybody besides my daughter, I'm so protective of my space. I'm so protective of my space. Not because I desire to be a loner or anything like that. Not because I'm depressed, not because I'm sad or anything like that. But I understand that bringing the wrong energy into my environment, the wrong people into my space, or allowing myself to travel into wrong spaces with people with wrong energy is detrimental to me. I know that's how I ended up crying in the shower 18 years ago. And so now my space is cleared. My life is drama-free. And the friends and the personal board of directors that I have, they understand, like, I ain't perfect. I ain't got it all going on. I don't have everything perfect. None of us do. But it's important to understand that with the right tools, the right resources, the right associations, and the right alignments with the right people, you can have your own highlight reels. You can have your own highlight reels. You don't have to compare. Comparison is like abuse against yourself. It's like abusing yourself when you compare yourself to other people. You're not somebody else, you're you. So just be you. Be the best damn you can be. No matter how outlandish it is, no matter how crazy it is, no matter how whatever it is, be all of that. Be who you were called to be, and be that unapologetically, so that you don't have to find yourself crying in the shower. So that's the message today, guys. I know it was kind of heavy. It was on my heart, so I wanted to share that with you guys. But if you think that somebody can benefit from this discussion, if you think that somebody can benefit from the message, please share the video out. Please share the video out, because I know there are a lot of people out there crying in the shower that don't want people to see how hurt they are, but don't know really how do I go about reclaiming my confidence? How do I go about restoring harmony? How do I go about clearing out some unhealthy relationships? How do I go about ending some toxic behaviors? And there's help out there. So share the video out. If you guys have questions, you know my inbox is always open 24/7. So for me, for now, that's it. I'm out. Ultimate Power Coach. Thanks for living life on Mars with me, you guys, and being part of the Ultimate Power team. Love you, and I'll talk to y'all later.